Kafka Hibino, a middle-aged, ugly loser who lives in a world filled with Godzilla-like monsters called kaijus, who constantly invade cities all over Japan, dreams to be one of the elite saviors of mankind who take down these monsters. But he is too weak, so instead he works as a sweeper whose job is to clean up the remains of a kaiju's corpse. When monsters like Godzilla, also known as kaiju, appear all over Japan, the nation goes into a state of emergency, calling all the citizens to run for their lives and head to the emergency evacuation center. One of these kaijus wreaks havoc in the city, causing people to wonder if it will be the end for them. On the other hand, the government issues a military unit immediately in order to take down these monstrous beasts, learning the target location and its length of around 60 meters, which is as tall as a skyscraper. Many armed military soldiers surround the kaiju from everywhere and fire missiles at it. It screams slightly in pain, as if it were just bitten by a mere mosquito. The elite force called the Defense Corps 3rd Division also joins in the party to combat this beast. And one of them, a female masked soldier, makes a flashy entrance, jumping from a helicopter while holding an assault rifle. Following her entry, many more GIs jump into the fight scene and attack the kaiju, diverting its attention towards them. In the meantime, their leader, the female soldier named Mina Ashiro, aims a specialized weapon made specifically to eliminate kaijus at the kaiju's heart and fires it, causing the kaiju to blow up in pieces, which also makes it clear that humans cannot be underestimated. After the battle, the sweeper team heads to the fight location to dispose of the remains of the monster, which are scattered everywhere around. While the machines are getting ready to clean up the area, a middle-aged man named Kafka Hibino, who has been watching everything from a distance while enjoying a hamburger, reveals to be one of the workers as well who is supposed to clean the place. Kafka, who is part of a team of lazy losers known as the Sweepers, whose job it is to clean up the mess caused by kaijus, wonders when he will catch a break. They get to their work unenthusiastically, while on the other hand, the defense corps that has defeated the kaiju gets cheered on by the citizens for their successful defensive victory against the monster. Apparently, they have been working restlessly for the past couple of years to defeat these kaijus, and surprisingly, they have never failed or been injured. Kafka, who has always wanted to become a member of the 3rd Division of the Defense Corps, passes by them and goes back to work. Kafka states that his team's battle begins after the 3rd Division's battle ends, and proudly claims that his team's work is far harder than the work that the 3rd Division does. Still, no one in the city has ever cared about them, and has never shown any appreciation towards them at all. He unwillingly cuts down the skin of the monstrous corpse, so Kafka quickly comes down to treat his colleagues' fresh wounds, having experienced such injuries. He blames the 3rd Division for always leaving a mess when they should focus on trying to find a much cleaner way to deal with the monsters. But since it cannot be helped with, Kafka continues doing his work, revealing that the government has strictly told the sweepers to get done with the cleaning process within a week, making their work a hellish job that will lead them to work all day and night in order to dispose of the monster's remains. One of the supervisors of the sweepers approaches Kafka and assigns him to deal with another area nearby, informing him that the sweepers are short-staffed there. However, that area is covered with kaiju's intestines, making Kafka's friends feel pity for him, as dealing with kaiju's intestines is the worst experience someone can ever have. So, when Kafka reaches the area, his body gives up, smelling the disgusting poop oozing out of the monster's intestines. But Kafka's will to get this job over with remains undeterred, so he quickly cuts everything down and returns home late at night, being done with his hellish job. Laying down in his bed after working so hard, Kafka turns on the TV to watch something wholesome, but fails to get over the disgusting smell that is still attached to his skin. He redirects his focus on the news about the 3rd Division and watches as the media glorifies the leader of that team, Captain Mina, who became in charge of that division at the young age of 27. Not only that, but she apparently has also slayed over 100 kaiju monsters already, making her one of the best elite fighters in their country. Kafka, who is overwhelmed by Mina's success, reveals that they were once very good friends when they were still kids. Telling himself repeatedly that cleaning up the mess caused by kaijus is also an important job in helping the people in his city, he consoles himself, stating that he has a nice room and can eat the foods that he likes, but he himself knows that isn't nearly enough to satisfy his hunger to do something good. In any case, he heads out to his workplace office of the sweepers the next day and meets with Ikekawa there, a part-time student who also wishes to work with them as a cleaner. Ikekawa apparently is only here for the experience of being around a kaiju, because he wishes to join the Defense Corps one day. Hearing this, the higher-up Tokuda laughs and tells Ikekawa that Kafka was also a daydreamer like him who wanted to join the Defense Corps, but that dream is now buried 12 feet under the ground. Ikekawa wishes to know why Kafka gave up on his dreams, and in response, Kafka tells him simply that his hard work and abilities weren't enough to become a member of the Defense Corps. So, He suggests that Ikikawa too stop wasting his time trying. However, Ikikawa gets offended by his advice and makes it clear that, unlike Kafka, he will never give up on his dream. Anyway, the cleaning job continues, and once again Kafka gets assigned to deal with the intestines, this time along with the new boy Ikikawa. Later, during lunch, Ikikawa loses his appetite completely, so Kafka gives him a vitamin drink and a pair of nosebuds to feel better. This interaction leads them to bond with each other and enjoy working together more than before. After being done with the day's work, Ikikawa again approaches Kafka and thanks him for guiding him on his first day, admitting that if he weren't there to help, he wouldn't have been able to make it through the first day. He also lets Kafka know that Kafka's age limit to join the Defense Corps hasn't crossed yet, which means that Kafka can try to join the Defense Corps once again. Out of nowhere, a kaiju appears behind Ikikawa, opening its mouth to devour him. But thankfully, Kafka uses his quick reflexes to save the boy and drags him away from the monster, giving him a chance to escape. In the meantime, Kafka distracts the monster and runs away in the opposite direction from where Ikikawa ran off. He luckily finds a narrow entrance leading to a construction building, so he enters there and jumps off from the edge, knowing that the fall itself might end his life as well. At that moment, he remembers his time with Mina when she was crying over the fact that all of their friends' families, schools, and houses were destroyed by the kaijis. He cheered up Mina, promising her that they would together take revenge on the kaijis for what they did, and decided to join the Defense Corps to slay the kaijus together. Back to the present, Kafka lands safe on the ground and still expresses his regrets over not being able to join the Defense Corps. He picks up a steel pipe to use as a weapon against the kaiju. However, he is nowhere strong enough to land a hit on the monster and gets himself badly injured with his right leg broken. As he gives up on his life, knowing he cannot escape, Ikikawa comes there to rescue him, telling him not to give up on his dreams. To save both the brave sweepers, a mysterious white tiger arrives there and takes care of the kaiju, eliminating it in the blink of an eye, which causes both Ikikawa and Kafka's jaws to drop completely. Mina appears before them, revealing herself to be the owner of the ferocious white tiger, but she doesn't even look at Kafka as if she is embarrassed by his presence and leaves immediately. After the battle, both Kafka and Ikikawa get admitted to a hospital to get their injuries treated. Kafka, who is in disbelief seeing how his childhood friend ignored his existence, doesn't judge her. Instead, he acknowledges her strength being so great that she was able to kill such a gigantic monster in an instant. Ikikawa grabs Kafka's attention and calls him a really amazing person for risking his own life to save others. And that is why he thinks that a person like Kafka should definitely join the Defense Corps. Kafka also realizes that he cannot just give up on his dreams just because he is slightly worse than the other candidates, and so he decides to give it another go at the entrance test again, thanking Ikikawa for motivating him to do so. At that moment, a small bird-sized kaiju appears in front of Kafka, and before he knows it, it reaches inside his body, turning him into a demonic Godzilla-shaped creature, or, as some would call it, a cheap rip-off of Overlord. Ikikawa, who watches the entire scene take place, becomes totally baffled by his senior's terrifying transformation, but he quickly realizes that, on the inside, he is the same guy as before. This sudden turn of events makes Kafka realize that if he doesn't run away for his life, the Defense Corps will soon find him and slay him. Thanks for watching.